Hey traders, John Howell here. Let's actually get ready for the markets this week. So that's what this video is all about. Probably going to be looking at some long-term stuff as well too, maybe some short-term stuff, a lot of short-term technical analysis. It's going to be looking across all the markets through there. Plus also, there's a story that I really want to share with you that I think is going to really help you with your trading. Something that happened to me a few years ago when it comes to my trading that, man, it almost sent me to the graveyard, right? But me being sent to the graveyard, I was almost buried in the ground, so to speak, but I was planted at that time. And what sprung was the trader that you see today, who gets a really high win-loss ratio, who does really well, and so on and so forth. So I've got a lot of stuff that I want to cover with you today. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty, traders. So let's get straight into the technical analysis side of things today. Let's actually start off with the good old. We'll start off with this here. Let's actually. I want to show you this here. Okay, so let's actually go down to. There's a few things here. Let's actually look at the fear and greed index first. So this is the fear and greed index, and we can see where it's at right now, because this is something that I've been looking at with the actual markets itself for the last sort of couple of weeks to a month. And one of my biggest things about where we are in the markets right now and the pullback we're getting is the hardest thing about trading a market where we are right now, or the individual indices anyway, okay, the individual indices, the individual stocks, they're creating their own patterns, they're creating their own systems, they're creating their own thing, right? So one thing I was always looking at was that we're always up here towards the greed or the extreme greed reading for a long time. And I always knew that there was going to eventually come a point in time where the market actually has that pullback. Now, the unfortunate thing is, for the last month, I've been saying, get ready for pullback, get ready for pullback. And we haven't got the pullback. And I've gotten some flack from the good old YouTube community, but that's okay, because the whole thing is just warning you guys that, listen, if you do want to be going long these indices right now, just keep in mind that when we do get that pullback and we do get that drop in the markets, literally 1 week's worth of drop is going to wipe out many months worth of action to the upside. And what we've seen, what we have seen this week, or last week, should I say, what we've seen last week, because today is Monday, right? Getting started for the week. The thing is that what we saw last week, right, was that we saw that a few down days wiped out literally probably close to a month's worth of action, especially like with Apple and so on and so forth. Anyway, so we can see that we're getting this extreme greed reading right now when it comes to the fear and greed index from that. And so I do believe that we've still got a bit more downside to come out of the indices overall. Okay, now this is the indices, guys. One of the big mistakes that I've made when it comes to trading the markets is having a blatant statement across all stocks. Okay, I personally don't do that. If I say, okay, let's actually look at this here. Let's bring up the S&P 500. Okay, let's go to the S&P 500. Let's open up the charts here. Right. So if I have a view of the S&P 500, okay. And as you know, for the last month, I've been saying, guys, I would not want to try to go long here, okay? Because we're probably going to get that pullback. So I was early on my call of getting a pullback, but I have been trying to stop people from trying to go long the markets because I know that when we do get the pullback, it's going to be hard. As you can see, literally 1, 2, 3 days has wiped out close to a few weeks worth of trading. And maybe another week's worth of downward movement is going to wipe out a few months, and that's always the danger part, right? Of doing that, and that's exactly what the market does. So, what I was saying before was that the whole thing about the stock market, right, is one of the biggest mistakes that I've made in my trading career is having a blatant statement across the whole markets. Well, the S&P 500 is bearish right now, therefore all stocks are bearish in the S&P 500. Or the Dow Jones right now is doing X, so therefore all the stocks in the Dow Jones are doing X. Do you see what I'm saying there? Which as you know, right, if you've been around the markets for a few years, you know, if you look at all the individual stocks that go a part of the S&P 500, you know that even though the S&P 500 is going down, there's many stocks that are going up in the S&P 500. And there's many stocks that are getting absolutely just crushed in the S&P 500, right? So there's a mixed bag from there. So as we do the analysis of the S&P 500 and the indices, just keep in mind that that doesn't correlate to what all stocks are doing, because we can have a blatant statement across that, right? And that's the reason why, guys, for me personally, I use my system to trade. So even if the indices are bearish right now and I expected more of a pullback out of the S&P 500, if I get a bullish setup on an individual stock that according to my rules, I'm going to take it because I know it's going to have a really high win-loss ratio, a massively high probability of actually having a profit. And some of them are going to be really, 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 really big profits. Make sense? So that's where that's what one of the biggest mistakes that I've made when looking at the markets has been doing that. But if we look at what's happened with the S&P 500, if I zoom in just a little bit more, close up view here, look at what we have here, right? So we have this sort of flat moving from here, and then you can see 1, 2, 3 down days have come through here. We do have a little bit of a support through here, so we may get a little bit of a bounce, okay? So we do actually have a little bit of a support and resistance level all through this level through here. So we may get a little bit of a bounce through here coming from there, but I do expect to see probably a bit more downside to come. We do actually have a bit of a gap here on the S&P as well too. Right around that sort of $43,020, 43,020, 43,000. There you go. Imagine the S&P 500 being at the 43,000. There you go. Do you know what? It's probably going to be there in 30 years, right? It's like we all know the S&P 500 is going to keep getting higher and higher, and the Dow Jones, right? They're all going to keep going higher and higher. It's just the way it's going to go. So if you can see like 4,320 to 4,280, there's a bit of a gap there coming from there. But one thing you'll notice as well too, right? Notice how we actually had quite a nice little trend line coming up from there to there, right? You can see how we're in a beautiful upward trend, and then now look at it, it just broke that trend line coming down from there. So you can see this was the day that actually things started to change for the S&P 500. So if we zoom out a little bit more now, we can actually see that, yeah, now it's actually really starting to roll over here. We can start to see that, yeah, it rejected it at that resistance level, didn't it? Look at that there. It actually rejected it right at that resistance level right there. Right, and then it actually dropped from here. Someone said in my chat box below, would you stop bashing the market? Do you think the market gives a shit about what I think? It's like, oh no, stop bashing the markets. You're hurting its feelings. Really? When I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in the past from doing dumbass shit, do you think the market gives a shit about my feelings? No, all right? The market has no feelings, all right? Stop bashing the market, will you? I'm not. I'm just telling you guys what's coming. So anyway, so that's the S&P 500 there. Let's go look at the Dow Jones as well too. So the Dow Jones is the one that's actually got a pretty strong level of support and resistance coming through there. So in fact, let me actually draw that from this trend line here. Right, so we could quite possibly get a bit of a strong bounce out of the Dow Jones. I don't expect actually a pretty big drop out of the Dow Jones, only because we haven't actually had a big move. So the Dow Jones to me is this is just a nice little healthy pullback. We could quite possibly get a bit of a pullback down to this level through here somewhere. And we also actually have a lot of support and resistance around this level here, around that sort of, it's not a finite S, it's more like an area, right? So sort of 34,400 to sort of 34,800, maybe just above there. That whole area through there is probably where the Dow Jones is going to be, because we're in an upward trend right now on the Dow Jones, right? So we had a move up, then we had a move down, we had a move up, and then now all we're doing is just getting a move down, right? And then now we could be getting ready for a nice move to the upside on the Dow Jones. So that's the Dow Jones through there. Let's go look at the Nasdaq. Let's see what's going on with the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq to me is really starting to peter out. It's really starting to top out. We're starting to get what I call like a false breakout, end of trend type of indicator. Because what happens, a lot of the times you see this with the end of trends, right? The market will, and this is what I've been trying to warn people for the last couple of months about what's happening here. And even though I was early, as you can see with the Nasdaq, right, we've pretty much done nothing for the last couple of months. And even though I've been early, I haven't been wrong when it comes to that. And then now, those who were bullish are really going to get hurt probably. So what tends to happen is the market goes up, 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 up like this, right? And then it might have a little pullback. It might go up again like that. And then it does something like that on you, right? It creates like a really big sort of false breakout top of a pattern. And then it completely reverses from there. So we can see here that if I look at this level through here, you can see here that that's where it's at right now from that level through there. And you can also see that we were indeed on the Nasdaq, right? We were indeed actually in a beautiful, beautiful upward trend through there, as you can see, right? Look at that beautiful upward trend, bouncing, break. And now we're at that level here, right? So we've got that breaking of that trend line coming to the upside. We actually do have another trend line here that may come into play later on. So maybe somewhere through there. Maybe the Nasdaq is only going to get a support level through there. Maybe got a support level through there and maybe through there. So maybe the Nasdaq is only going to get a pullback down to this level through here. Maybe it's not going to be a big pullback. Let's have a look at that there from that there to that there. Oh yeah, that's about an 8% to 10% drop out of the markets, and that's all I'm expecting actually, because I'm expecting new highs to come out of the S&P 500. So that's all we could probably get. So now we've broken this trend line here. Let's actually delete that. This is probably going to be some sort of false breakout, so we can delete that for a minute here. Yeah, we're probably only going to get a nice, really good pullback to this level through here, and then we can sort of reassess what's going on there. But this whole level through here, you can see here we had this level here, and then we had this sort of level up through here. We can see that that's what's happening in the markets from that level, from that perspective there. So. And also, let's go look at the Russell of the pack. Now, the Russell of the pack is actually looking quite strong. It's actually looking. I don't actually have a bearish tone to the Russell because we don't actually have. We haven't actually had a lot of upside movement out of the markets, right? Out of the Russell's been through here. So as you can see, the Russell indeed has actually been low, high, low, high, low, and now we're just going sideways through here. So I wonder what the moving average is doing. So we've got the 52. 52 is coming up nicely. And we've got that coming up nicely as well too. Okay, so we've got a couple of moving averages there coming up through there. Yeah, we probably what would actually be pretty good for the Russell if the Russell's going to break out and go for a big move. And by the way, guys, because the Russell has been doing nothing really, especially through this level through here, you can see that's like a bit of a channel that's been in right now. Bit of a few low levels through there. Because the Russell's been doing nothing here, we're probably likely to see a really big move out of the Russell. So we could be setting up now for having a really big breakout of the Russell, but not yet. I believe we need a bit more sideways movement to come. Right, so maybe get the 52 to come up through here somewhere. Right, get the Russell just doing something like this. I don't think the Russell's going to have a really big pullback. If it does, it may just come down through the level through here and then pick back up, and then when we do get the breakout, then we're likely to see that movement from there to there. Make sense? So that's exactly what I'm looking at from that point of view from there on the Russell through there. Let's go look at oil and see what's going on with oil. Let's take off the moving averages, and as you can see, trade. Look at this here, right? So as you can see here now, all I'm doing is analyzing price action, right? One of the hardest things that I had to do when trading, when I first started trading, I've been trading markets for 19 years myself. And by the way, guys, I'm coming off a phenomenal week. I had 7 trades last week. 5 trades last week, all successful trades. 7 trades. I've been seeing the number 77, so that's in my mind right now. So I had 5 trades last week, and all were successful trades. It was my most successful trading week. It was my most successful trading week in the last few months, trading last week. So if you do need some help with that, guys, you can apply for my coaching program, and that's that second link in the description there. So let's look at oil through here. So oil has actually had quite a big move, quite a strong move out of this level through here. And one of the things you'll notice, look at this here. So we actually had like a bit of a descending triangle pattern coming through here. Notice this descending triangle pattern. And you'll notice this about the triangle patterns lately. If you see anyone on YouTube or any textbook, the textbooks would say, oh, descending, we should get a break to the downside, right? I see so many times that these patterns that are supposed to be bearish now become bullish patterns. I see so many bearish patterns do this, right? And it's like, even like what was it, Ford, right? Even Ford did this as well too. Look at this here, right? Look at Ford. Ford just had what? Ford had this beautiful, look at this beautiful descending triangle pattern. And then look at this, it broke to the upside and actually had a really big move to the upside. So I'm noticing that more and more and more of that type of pattern. So when you are trading, guys, and you start to see these patterns, we can get the breakout towards the downside or towards the direction of that if it's a bullish or bearish pattern. In this case, bearish pattern. But a lot of the times you start to see the breakout happen against that pattern, and you're like, hang on a minute, this is actually a bearish pattern. This should be going down. So just keep an eye out for that, guys, as you're looking at the markets, because a lot of these triangle patterns, these bullish triangle patterns, and they become bearish for the markets. And it's the markets are sort of flipped upside down when it comes to that perspective there. So looking at let's go look at the weekly charts on oil. Oil has actually been doing nothing through here, but we are starting to really gain a lot of strength through here when it comes to the oil market. So if we do, we're probably going to get some form of a pullback. Let's see what's actually going on with the moving average. I have my 52 moving average. So yeah, we're pretty far away from it, so I wouldn't be too surprised maybe get like a bit of a backing pattern, bit of a pullback out of oil, and then maybe even see this thing start to have a nice move back to the upside from there. So this move up, and then have this little pullback through here, and then possibly see this nice move coming up from there out of the oil market from there. Let's go look at gold from here. And gold is actually really interesting, guys. Gold is at a really interesting juncture right now. It's a bit of a do or die week for gold, because if I look at this, let's take you off the screen here for a minute. If I look at this weekly chart, check this out, okay? So if I look at this weekly chart, we can see that we have this low point through here, right? So we have a major low, major high low, and another major high low. So this weekly chart is in a very strong upward trend. If you are trading the daily chart, guys, okay, one thing I really want you to try to focus on is never trading against that higher time frame trend. So if we have a very good strong upward trend through here, going short through here is very risky. Going short through here is very risky, only because we've had a very strong upward trend and we never know how much of that pullback, right? Because what is a pullback, right? A pullback is just that. We have an upward trend, and an upward trend consists of what? Higher lows and higher highs. Now, John, tell me something new, right? So these are what we call pullbacks, right? Pullbacks. The big problem with these pullbacks and these pullbacks is that you just never know how long they're going to last. So whenever I'm trading, to give me the best chance of doing really well, one, I don't want to be trading against the higher time frame trend. So if we have a strong upward trend trying to go short would be very risky. But then also the best chances of capturing a good trade and a high probability trade of having a big move, like a big move up, and we could be getting ready for another a big move up, is trading with that overall higher time frame trend. So if you're trading the daily charts, guys, and you're looking for trades on the daily charts, always be keeping an eye on that weekly chart trend, which is the highs and lows to that. Now, sometimes you have an uptrend, sometimes you have a downtrend, and sometimes you have no trend, right? It's going sideways. There's no one really in control. So we don't always have a trend in place there. So it's a bit of a rule of thumb when I'm personally trading. But when it comes to the gold market itself, right? One thing I'm looking at here is that we had a low, higher low, and now we had a higher low. But notice how we actually had a lot of rejection around this sort of probably that 1,980 level, right? So we're at this point here. Now, again, we're making this strong movement up. If we go to our daily charts now and we squeeze our daily charts up, what could the daily chart be doing now? The daily chart could be doing what? This is a low. This could be a higher low. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a higher low. We have to wait and let the market do it, do the talking. But if this is a higher low, the if scenarios, right? The if scenarios. If this is a higher low and we start to get something like this out of the markets and we start to get a breaking above this level through here, guys, I truly believe gold is on the cusp of having an extraordinary quality move to the upside. The cusp, right? It's on the cusp of having extraordinary quality move to the upside, and I think we're going to get a really, really, really big move. This could be the start. This pullback here could be the start of an extraordinary quality move up to around about 2,500. Now, I don't know that for sure. That's just a guess of mine. So don't be putting a trade based off that. Like, here we go. No, smack, right? No, smack. But I do believe this could be the cusp of gold having some really big, extraordinary quality moves. And from a trading perspective, once we break this level through here, we have a really good chance of getting back up towards these highs here when it comes from a trading perspective in the markets. Make sense? So gold is actually setting up quite nicely. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to gold is they equate gold going up, so I'm going to go buy gold mining stocks. Big, 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 big mistake. Big mistake, right? One of the big mistakes that I see so many people do is say, oh, the dollar should drop, so therefore I'm going to go buy gold. No. Dollar has been getting absolutely hammered, right? If you actually have a look at the dollar, it's had a bit of a rally. But if you go look at the actual dollar itself, the DXY, look at this here. Gold absolutely, the dollar absolutely got hammered through this point through here. But we didn't actually see a really big rise out of gold. Why not? Because they're not always correlated. We've had a very strong move to the upside, in the dollar. Shouldn't that equate to gold getting absolutely hammered right now? Why is gold not getting hammered right now? Because it's not doing that. And so if you're doing a correlation trade, dollar do this, so therefore I'm going to go buy gold. Big mistake, because you're probably hurting right now, right? Like, hang on a minute, why is the dollar going down and gold's not even moving? Why is the dollar rising and gold is still not really doing too much for the last couple of weeks, right? And so this is the big thing out there when we're seeing that. Let's go look at silver right now. Silver's actually in a really, 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 really interesting. Look at silver here. Silver is in a massive, massive triangle pattern through here. We don't need that anymore. But we are in a massive triangle pattern. I believe silver could be getting ready for a very strong breakout soon. Very, 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 very strong breakout. This complete massive triangle pattern through here that we've got. We've got this massive triangle pattern. But then we also have this whole level through here. So check this out with silver. Silver is actually, silver's nice, okay? So this is a weekly chart here, okay? So, and what do we have here? We have what? We have this low point through here. We have this higher low. And now we have this higher low through here, right? So we have these higher lows through here. Now, again, traders, what I'm doing through here right now is I'm just looking at what the market's doing. And I'm trying to say, okay, if the market does certain things moving forward, I know what that means. Now, what am I trying to say there? I'm trying to say that if the market does continue to hold here, and then we start to get a bit of a breakout from here, what does that mean for silver? Okay, so that's the if scenarios, right? So if silver does do that over the next couple of weeks, if we do start to see that over the next couple of weeks, what does that mean for silver? Silver then is probably what? Going to go for a really, really, really big move, because we have done absolutely nothing here for a long, extraordinary quality, a long period of time. So when it comes to the silver market, this breakout, if we do get the breakout, right, guys, because we're not there yet, right? We're not there yet. I could see a move at least a move coming up towards the next highs, which is what? Which is up around this level through here, which is around the $34 or $36, right? Coming out of silver. Silver could be getting ready for a really big move. And so this is one thing I'm really watching for, because once silver starts to break out, we could be getting ready for that. So we're getting this nice low, higher low, and also a higher low out of the silver market, right? And so we're going to, this is probably one of these two markets, right, guys? The gold market and also the silver market are probably one of the most bullish tones that I'm seeing through here. Now, if you go watch my YouTube, if you actually look at my YouTube channel and you look at my trailer, I won't go there now, but obviously when you click on my name, you can go to the YouTube channel, right? And you see the main trailer video there that I got. I did a video a few months ago saying I'm expecting the indices to make I'm expecting the S&P 500 to make an all-time high this year. People called me nuts back then, but I still do see that happening, right? So I do see a really big move coming out of the silver markets, right? Out of the stock markets, but the stock markets have been going up a lot. So we're just due for a nice good 5 to 10% pullback, and then away we go again, right? Not a big crash. But when it comes to the silver and gold market itself, they are setting up for really, really, really nicely. And we could be getting ready for some really big, extraordinary quality moves to come out of this level. Makes sense? So once again, once we start to see this thing happening on the silver market, silver and gold could be getting ready for some really, really, really big moves, guys. So there's possibly some really good trading opportunities around gold and around silver. I'm not going to tell you guys what to do when it comes to that, but if you do need some help when it comes to identifying trades, getting my feedback, maybe you are looking at something and you just want my feedback from it, and maybe on a daily basis get some daily coaching from me, maybe actually even learn my trading system, what I'm using to utilize and to benefit from these potential moves that are coming soon. Again, guys, that second link in the description, click on that. And you can go fill out the application form. And on the application form, you can book a call with me. And I'll call you to see if you're a good fit for the actual coaching program. And I'll talk to you more about it. And even on the call, if we're not a good fit on the call, guys, I'll be able to devise a plan for you to really help you move forward, right? So even if you're not a good fit for the program, which I'm telling you right now, 90% of people are not, if we do speak on the call, right, because it's actually a filtering process, right? 90% of the people I even see with the applications, I deny straight away. But if we do actually make it on the call, then on the actual call itself, if you're not a good fit for the program and I don't think I can work with you, then what I'll do is I'll at least devise a plan for you to help you move forward in that way. Make sense? So I seriously do want to help you out there, but make sure you get some help, guys, especially right now, because especially in some of these indices, right, and understanding what's going on right now. For the last month, I've been telling people to get ready for this, what's been happening in the indices, and this is what's actually happening, right? And now I'm telling people to get ready for something that's happening in the silver and gold market, but it's seeing this from a chart reading perspective, but also then having a trading plan and a trading strategy, trading entries, risk management, trade management, letting your profits run, capturing the big profits, and so on and so forth. That's where the skill comes from, right? And then that's where you really need some coaching there. Again, guys, that second link in the description there, guys. Click on that. Go fill out the application form, and I'll personally call you to really help you out and see if you're a good fit for that. But right now, guys, there's some extraordinary quality opportunities that are coming our way when it comes to these markets here. Now, I'm going to revert back to something I said about the dollar and gold. When people think, oh, the dollar should do this, so gold should do this, right? They see the correlation there. Big mistake, right? I'm going to say that same for silver as well too, right? So just because silver looks like we could be getting for a breakout doesn't mean all silver stocks, the SIL, the SILJ, those markets, doesn't mean those markets are going to be going for a big run as well too, right? So we can't put the correlation, because if we look at some of the gold mining stocks right now, they're actually looking quite weak. Some of the big stocks like NEM, actually Barrick Gold, and so on and so forth, there's actually a lot of bearish tone from there. So going back to silver itself, if we go back to the daily charts now, we can actually see that this silver market through here is actually we have a low, so we have a high, a low, we had a high. This could be a high low here once again, right? And if it is, and we start to get this movement coming back up, we start to get the buyers coming back in silver, then silver could be getting ready for, I'm telling you right now, guys, silver could be one of those opportunities that we get some extraordinary quality. Again, just looking at this from a chart reading perspective from here, let's actually bring this down to here. Again, we could see this breakout. Look at this here, guys. Once we get a breakout, we could, oh guys, I'm telling you right now, one of the greatest trading opportunities could be underneath our feet right now. Again, guys, and I'm not telling you what to do here, right? I'm not saying go long silver, because it may not go up, all right? I may not get my confirmation for a trade, so therefore I may not trade it. It may not even confirm. We may just continue down from here, and I may not get my trading opportunity, all right, guys? But this could be one of the greatest trading opportunities this year when it comes to gold and when it comes to silver, because once we get a breakout here of silver, then silver could be getting ready for, for like a really nice sort of 50% move to the upside pretty quickly, right? So again, that's a 50% move coming out of the the silver market there, and gold looks like it could be having a big move as well too. If I go back to the gold market, then I actually have a projection on gold of around about that 2,000, 2,500 level there. So we have this level through here. That's that high point through there. So we have this 2,500. I see gold actually possibly having a big move up. So it does look like those metals, guys, this metals, which is the sleeping giant, right? No one's talking about that right now. No one's talking about gold and silver because they're the sleeping giant. What is the whole thing is what? Interest rates, inflation, and the stock market having a move up, right? So that's what people are focusing on. So the sleeping giant is probably going to be waking up, and fee 5-4 thumb, here we go. And everyone else that's not going to be watching, they're going to be sucking their thumb. Fee 5-4 thumb, don't suck your thumb. Anyway, so all right, John, let's get back to the charts. So that's what I'm seeing through there from that perspective from there, guys. Let's actually just go look at some of the actual, let's auto scale again, auto fit. Let's go look at some of the, let's say look at the GDX itself. So let's go look at the GDX. Right, and this is the GDX, and this is look at the GDX, right? GDX is actually looking quite weak, and this is what I was saying before about gold, right? So I was saying that with the gold market, we can't have a correlation between it because this is actually very. Look at this here. It's actually ran up, made a significant lower high, and now we're rolling over. This is bearish, so we're getting a very weird tone that's happening right now. This is actually looking quite bearish because what are we getting right now? We're getting this lower high, and if we break this low, then the gold mining stocks could be getting ready to go, could be getting ready to crash, could be getting ready to get crushed, right? Again, it's all about just reading the markets from here, guys, and understanding. But then if we also have a look, at a bit of it, let's actually do a bit of a trend line as well too, to the upside. Yeah, look at that there, guys. Yeah, see that through there? So that's what's going on right now with the GDX. Let's go look at the GDXJ. Okay. This is and the same for the GDXJ, right? Look at this here. The same for the, look at this here. Significant lower high, high, lower high, low. We're starting to get these lower lows. If we break this low level through here, guys, on the mining sector, and again, I know that sounds really weird, right? About the mining sector right now. Now, on the overall big macro perspective, I am very excited about the commodities, and especially the mining sector, the mining stocks sector, moving forward when it comes to when it comes to especially probably 2025, 26 onwards. I think we're just going to just see an extraordinary quality move coming out of this sector through here. So let's actually just go look at and we'll finish this off now, guys, this video here with the good old Bitcoin, the good old Bitcoin, right? Now we have a look at the good old Bitcoin. Most people think it's bitter. We're actually getting a beautiful sideways movement from me. So the good old Bitcoin, if we draw a trend line, that could be the trend line coming up from there to there, right? So one thing I'm seeing through here is that Bitcoin, the good old Bitcoin, right, could be getting ready for a nice breakout to the upside. Now we haven't got it yet, right? But we have this low point through here, we have this significant low point through here, and we have this significant low point through here. Now I want to share a bit of a pattern with you here. Notice whenever the market goes up like this, it goes strong up. If we get a strong up and then a strong down like that, see, that's more like a V shape. But if we start to look at things more like an L shape or a slight L shape upside down, right? So an L shape would be what? Down and then across. See how it's more like an L shape in the markets? Very powerful pattern. Down, L shape. Very powerful pattern for a continuation of the overall move. So if it was down, strong down, slow across, we could be getting ready for another strong down again. Now the same is for the upside, right? Flipped upside. If we get a strong up but then a slow across like that, or even just slightly down like that. We just don't want to see this, all right? We don't, or even just slightly down like that, right? So we have a very strong move up and then a very sort of slow move down like that. If we do get that, there's a good probability that if it does break out to the upside with that, then we're probably likely to see a really big move coming out of that sector through there. Make sense? So when we're looking at the good old Bitcoin right now, we can see here, look at this here. We had what? We had a move up. And by the way, guys, if you guys that actually watch this whole video, give me a hell yeah if you've watched this entire video, because you guys are the superstars. If you've watched this entire video all the way through, just give me a hell yeah. I'm like, this is amazing. So look at this here. Remember I said before about the indices, when the market goes up like that very big and we get a little pullback and then we get to go again? That's generally like a false breakout, and then we do something like that. If you remember that, you may have to rewind, but that's what I talked about with the indices at the start of this video. One thing that I see here, look at this here, right? You see these patterns. This is where like false breakout patterns can happen. Slightly down with this slow move down, slow move like that, all right? And this is where like if we have a big move up and a little pullback like this, like, all right, and then we get a breakout, this is probably going to be a false breakout. But if we get like a very big pullback like that, then we're probably likely to see a really good continuation. Right, that's just the pattern I just noticed there when it comes, and that's one of the things I'm seeing on the indices right now. That sort of similar pattern on there. Now, when it comes to the Bitcoin market, as you can see, right, we had this overall move to the upside. See how we actually had this slow move down, right? So we had a strong move up, we had this slow move down. Look at this here. Now we're getting what? A big strong move up. See how it's actually slow, right? Slow simply means if you look at move on the downside, that would be strong. That would be slow. Right? Think about a roller coaster. If this was a roller coaster, wow, right? It's woof. Here we go. That's strong on the downside. But if this was a roller coaster, you'd be like, oh yeah, not much is going on, right? You're just slowly going on, right? This is not much is going on, right? When this happens, especially off the back of getting something like this in the markets are up, and then oh yeah, not much going on, then what can tend to happen is that if we do get a big breakout like that, that is now the tendencies to have a big move. So Bitcoin could be getting ready for have a really big move to the upside. So if we get something like this out of Bitcoin, hello, traders, right? And again, guys, in my coaching program, second link in the description, you can apply for that. This is the stuff that I talk about every single week, because I do like a weekly live coaching session, but I also do like daily sessions as well too, if you're interested in that. But again, fill out the application form below, guys, and I'll be able to speak to you on the phone. But the whole thing about this here, right, is what? There's so many opportunities around there, right? And so for me, I am not a trader of any markets. I actually look at all markets. I look at, as you can see here, I actually have 4 major Forex pairs. Right, so 4 major Forex pairs. I look at the cryptocurrencies. I look at some other markets. I've got some tech stocks going on. I'm looking at the indices as well too. So I'm a trader of all markets, right? Because I'm always keeping an eye on these markets, because there's opportunities everywhere if we just know what to look for and what to keep an eye on. Make sense? So traders, I did promise you at the start of this video that I want to share with you something that almost sent me into the graveyard, but and planted me in the ground. But it did plant me in the ground, and what that plant was a beautiful ray of sunshine who's sprouted today. I want to share something with you here, okay? That I think a lot of people are doing right now when it comes to the markets, which I did a big mistake as well too. So it was when Trump was being elected by the elections, right? When Donald Trump was being elected by the elections. There you go. When there was elections that's happening in the markets. Okay, so when there was elections happening in the markets. There you go. When the elections were happening back in 2016, and Trump was running. Okay, there you go. I finally got it. Doing a 40-minute video, it's like I finally got it. Right. When he was doing that, the narrative around the markets at that time was big crash, right? And so one thing that most traders can learn from what's happened in the last 12 months to 2 years, especially in the last 12 months, as the stock market's been rising, is that no matter what we think or no matter what the narrative is around there, in fact, the narrative is always wrong, right? It tends to do the opposite to that. So if I bring up the S&P, let's just bring up the Dow Jones here, right? Let's go to this one here, Dow Jones, right? If I go to the Dow Jones, and let's actually go back to when good old Trumpy was elected, okay? Donald Trump was elected. So this is where I think it's so important that if we are trading based off if we are trading based off what we think is going to happen, I think a lot of people have been doing that this year, what we think is going to happen, then it's going to be a big mistake, right? So around here, this is 2016, this is when Donald Trump was being elected, right? And all we go. So we saw Harry Dent, we saw all these people come out, saying that the market's going to crash, the market's going to go down, that's it, it's all over, Red Rover, down, the prices are down, the prices are down, right? And so for me, leading up to that point, I never listened to the news, I never listened to the headlines, I never listened to the fundamentals. I'm a trader, so I just listen to the charts. Now, what does listen to the chart actually mean? It's just like reading the patterns. That's what listening to the chart actually means, right? It's just I'm reading the patterns. What is the good trend analysis? Are we in a pullback phase, or is this a change in trend? Like stuff like that, right? Again, that first thing in the description there, guys, if you're interested in more about the chart reading side of things, I've got a whole complete free trading course if you want some free help to really help you out there. Again, that's that first thing in the description there. Again, it's completely free. I'm going to help you out there. Plus, I also teach you my trading system. But the whole thing about what I'm saying there is that a lot of people were thinking something. And so because I got sucked in by the narrative of if Trump wins, this is going to be really bad. And so I started listening to them. And so I had about a $700,000 short position, around about $700,000 short at that time in the markets. And when Trump got elected and we started to see, oh, look, we had this sideways movement, and then we started to see this thing start to pop to the upside like this, then guess what? Start pop to the upside. When this thing started to pop to the upside, and I had a short position through here. Now, by the way, guys, if we're looking at trading patterns, remember I said before about the L-shaped pattern, right? So the L-shaped pattern is down and then a slower, and sort of like that little L-shaped pattern. But if you flip it upside down, right, you get what? That, and then you get that, right? See, that's more like a flipped upside down L-shaped pattern. What is this pattern here? It's what? It's up. Look at that. Is that one of those sort of, but this is a very long sort of pullback here, right? So remember I said before about gold, silver, Bitcoin, stuff like that. Remember I said before, right? Because it's just all patterns, right? So if the pattern here was saying what? We could be getting ready for a breakout to the upside. If we get a breakout to the upside like this could be the start of quite a big move because we've actually had a really good slow pullback. Remember, with this here, we don't want to see up and then down, right? That's strong up, strong down. If we get a strong up, right? Strong up, it's like climbing, right? Climbing. It's like, oh yeah, this is roller coaster. Not much is going on here. Oh yeah, this is. It's not scary at all, right? It's not like very steep at all. You're just slowly going down, and then bam, away we go again. So guys, this is the pattern here, and so I'm always looking for this pattern because it's such an incredible pattern. Again, that's the reason why if you look at things like gold right now and the Bitcoin market, there's many opportunities out there. Even if you do trade the intraday charts, there's many opportunities out there. Anyway. So because my trading pattern works most of the time, I completely threw that out the window and went short. And it was about maybe 1 or 2 weeks later that I ended up getting out of that short position. And I lost about 200 grand at that time, 150 to 200 grand at that time. So I'm good. I got most of my money back, and I didn't actually listen to my ego, because if I listen to my ego, as you guys can see, oh, what is this here? What's this here? Up, sideways. You see what I'm saying there, guys? It's just anyway, I literally have just given you one of the most highest probability trading patterns on the planet. So anyway, guys, that's the story I wanted to share with you, how I got planted on the ground. But through this here has taught me to not be listening to the farts, right? Because they really stink sometimes. And so the farts of the market lately have been recession, crash, and so on and so forth. And I have just learned, guys, that no one, I mean no one, not a Ray Dalio, not a no one. Probably the only person you really want to listen to when it comes to this sort of stuff on a short-term basis would be Paul Tudor Jones. Right, Paul Tudor Jones is just the man, right? Now, Ray Dalio is good for good macro cycles and so on and so forth, and there's some good macro stuff going on there, right? A good understanding of what's happening, where we're going, and so on and so forth. But when it comes to the farts, when it comes to all sort of stuff, no, all the analysts were saying the opposite, which is a story in itself, right? Because if most people are saying one thing, we do the opposite. It's just a herd mentality, right? So when we look at the Nasdaq, what did the Nasdaq do? Again, guys, this is where I love this sort of stuff here. When the Nasdaq actually had this rise up, what did the Nasdaq do before this rise up? We had what? We had what? Strong up. See that slow down? We didn't have what? If we had strong up and then strong down, bad, right? Ooh, bad, right? Look at this here, up and then strong down. What do we have? Up, slow down, and then back up again. See that pattern there? It just works. It's just an incredible type pattern. Again, L-shaped pattern, L down, and then like that. We don't want to see straight up and straight down. That's more like V bottom. But if the market does something like this here, slow, we're getting ready for something like that. Market goes up, strong, and we don't get something like that, but it just starts to go slow. We're probably getting ready for something like that as well too, right? I'll give you one more example when it comes to that, and then I'll let you sexy people go, right? So this is McDonald's. Look at McDonald's, right? This is a beautiful example of what I'm talking about, the patterns, right? The patterns that we make. Now, look at this here. What is this? Strong up. Look at that through there. See how it's slow? We didn't get strong down, did we? Strong up, strong down. Look at this here. Strong up, strong down. Wrong. Strong up, strong down. Wrong. Right? Strong up, strong down. We don't want that, do we? No. What do we want? We want what? We want the cookie. We want the cookie, John. We want strong up, and then we want sort of a slower move down, right? We don't want the same angle, right? If we had this angle here, but the strong up, strong down, we don't want that, right? Look at this, slow. When it started the break, we got ready for a good move to the upside. So there we go, traders. Hope that helps you out. Once again, traders, if you do need some, if you just like some help around your chart reading stuff and the chart reading techniques, maybe some of the biggest mistakes you're making, that first thing in the description there, guys, is a free trading course I'm giving away to help you out. But if you like some more more daily coaching from me, and more hand holding about my system, you can use my AI scans as well too to help you find the trades and really dial in about your entry points and what to look for a good setup. That's second link in the description there, guys. Click on that, go fill out the application form, and I'll see you in the next video.